Sure. I don't know how
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is Friday evening. It is so good to be back with you again. I hope you're all doing well and that you've been taking care of yourself, being gentle with yourself. If you've had family with you for half term, then I hope that you've had lots of nice days out doing things. If you're at home at the moment, you are absolutely in the right place, and we very much enjoy being in your company every Friday. So hello everyone who's coming on, please say hello and where you're from. It's always good to say hi to you and to know where in the world you are dialing into this circle from. So friends, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome the really lovely Bev Mann to you. How are you doing, Bev?
I've got problems with the internet. I'm sorry, but hello everybody. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much, Ashley, for inviting me on the show. It keeps freezing. I apologise.
No, don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. I think sometimes the atmosphere, and also there's a full moon happening this evening, and apparently the moon being in Taurus is responsible for lots of electrical problems as well. And I only got told that today by one of my friends who's into this kind of thing. So I'm sure that Bev will be back anytime soon. She'll be able to dial back in once her internet is a little bit stronger. But let's just see who we've actually got on this evening. So who do we have? We have lovely Neil. How are you doing, Neil? Hope that you're well and looking after yourself. Hello to lovely June from all of the Wimbledon crew. Hope that you're all well. Hello to Irene all the way from Cyprus. Hello, Irene. Hope that you are looking after yourself and you're doing well. Hello to lovely Jennifer from County Durham. Oh, I'm so pleased. Jennifer's been doing a nature challenge with me all week this week for 5 days.
Hello, can you hear me, Ashley?
Hi, Bev. Hi, Bev. Don't worry. We will get you back. We will get you back in. Hello to Dean, hello to Phil, hello to Tracy, to Sheila, oh my goodness, to Liz. There are so many people on. Hello to Josephine. Hi, Jose, haven't seen you for a long time. Good to have you with us. Okay, everybody. So while we get everything settled with Bev, it's good to have you back with us. We are going to play a quick little ad. So grab yourself a cuppa, make yourself comfy, settle in, and we will see you in about 60 seconds. See you in a bit. Hello, everybody. Hope that you are well. And yeah, really good to have you with us. Really, really good to have you with us. So we have the lovely Bev Mann with us this evening. So it's going to be a really fun, really interactive evening. So please do have your questions ready. Please, if you've got anything which is about spiritual development, if you've seen any of Bev's shows, if you've seen any demonstrations that Bev's been taking part in, then please do put your questions and comments and get involved with the chat. This is a really interactive and a really lively evening on a Friday. This is your opportunity for us to meet people who are spiritually minded, people who are coming from a place of teaching and empowering other people who are spiritual workers to uncover their own spiritual selves and gain some strength in their connection with their loved ones in the spirit world and the people that work with them. And as you may notice, every week on a Friday, we've been going throughout the lockdown, bringing you lots of different people from all different walks of spirituality, not just spiritualism, but people who are involved in spiritual art, people who are involved in the divine feminine and uncovering and empowering that area, people who are involved in green spirituality. So please do send your suggestions in. If you have any thoughts who you would like to hear from and who you would like to spend an evening in circle with online, then please do send your thoughts and comments in, and yeah, we can have a discussion about who to bring on next. So okay, I'm just waiting for Bev to come back in. It sounds like she's having a couple of internet problems, which is a little bit of a shame. Oh, Phil. Okay, thank you so much, Phil, for getting stuck into here. Electrical problems due to Uranus currently in Taurus. Right. Okay, so that is the reason why. Thank you so much, Phil. It's always good to have you on, coming in with the theories, bang in there with the science part. Thank you, Phil, for just kind of clarifying that. I was saying to my group last night that I went through a couple of light bulbs yesterday and a couple of fuses in plugs. Everything just seemed to be blowing up and banging yesterday. So yeah, that kind of explains it all. If you've been having anything going on at your end, then just batten down the hatches. If anything goes wrong, then just rest assured we'll try and get back online as quickly as we can. Thankfully, it's only happened once, hasn't it, Phil? And that's when you were doing a Sunday service for us. And all of a sudden, during the closing prayer, I disappeared. I miraculously disappeared out of the ether, and Phil brilliantly carried on with the closing prayer and closing down the church service for us on a Sunday. You're the absolute professional. Thank you so much. Paula, you're a Taurus. Okay, right, that's good to know. That is good to know. If it's playing havoc with you, you're not the only one. Bev's back. Ta-da! You're back in the room, Bev.
I'm in a different room, but on the same computer on my laptop. I was searching for internet. I am sorry.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Things.
We were just all chatting about, everyone's electricity problems, internet problems, everything that's kind of going on at the moment. There's an awful lot of heightened energy. So yeah, absolutely. So Bev, now we've got you here, and I appreciate you just settling yourself in. It's really good to have you with us because I'm an absolute fan of your Friday show that you have on Spiritual Psychics TV on a Friday afternoon, which is everything I love about a really interactive tutorial type show. So if anyone hasn't already checked that out, I'm going to put some links up for Bev's pages and for the SPTV. So go and check out Bev's amazing program on that. I'll put that on further down in the chat. So Bev,
I'm like looking at myself because I've got like these two lights like shining down on me. I mean, it's like the light shining on the righteous. It's like really bizarre. So it's quite funny. Anyway,
like having two columns of angel light right coming down.
I know. I've never had that before. It's like really bizarre. But anyway.
What is going on?
I think anything's going to happen tonight. Let's be prepared. It's, night before Halloween. So thank you so much for having me, and let's hope my internet stays. And thank you for that lovely introduction.
Super. So guys, do please keep chipping your questions in. These are really interactive sessions. Even though I have a whole stack of things, I can't wait to talk to you about, Bev. There's so much to talk to you about. So for people that aren't familiar with you, would you be able to, and your story, would you be able to talk to us about your first kind of interactions with the spirit world? Because I appreciate that you were probably younger, and what people might not know about you is you're actually quite a shy, sensitive child, which I find really amazing because you're so confident and you're so exuberant in your love and passion for what it is that you do. Would you be able to kind of take us back to the very young spiritual Bev and what that was like?
Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that lovely sort of how you see me, because actually, believe it or not, I am still that very shy and sensitive, albeit older woman now. But I have always been, like most people who are light workers, always had that sensitive side and didn't really understand why that I was different. And then once you realize you're different, why are you different? And that's kind of actually one of the things that I'm passionate about, is helping like children, because as you know, and many of you are aware, that children do retain their link to the spirit world up until about the age of 7, but mine just went on and on and on. So I was constantly woken up by people in my room sitting at the end of my bed. I remember getting lost once on a family holiday and being greeted by a spirit person on the stairs. And I knew that they, that it wasn't a real person, because, how many court jesters do you get, on a hotel in Cliftonville, down in Kent. So, and as I got older, it didn't subside. It got more and more. I used to see like orbs of lights with faces in it. And I still get it to this day. And my parents used to call it my night terrors. But then there was the funny side of it where my mum used to sometimes say, oh, I'm going to listen in on Bev's bedroom door. You know, we might all hear about what's going on in her life, you know, and like have a little sneak preview, see if I let out any secrets, you know. She said that I used to speak too fast and she couldn't really hear what I was saying. So, yeah, it was something that really bothered me, even when I got married and left home and I'd be on holiday, I would still be experiencing orbs of light. And it wasn't like just in my sleep, it would wake me up. And that's one of the things, really, isn't it, Ashley, when if your family, like I didn't come from a spiritualist family. So I came from a traditional Jewish family, actually. So they didn't really understand, you know, what was going on around me, and neither did I, although my dad was quite into healing. So I understood the concept of healing, but that was about it. So I just had to find my own way. So sometimes when I hear of other people who said, oh, their parents were spiritualists, I think, oh, you must have had a much easier ride than I did. Because there's, you know, it's either something that some people learn later on in life, they discover that they have this gift much later in life, but if you've had it from a child, it can be quite a story, you know, if no one else understands it. Because, you know, as a sensitive, you're picking up and you're tuning into other people's thoughts and feelings all the time, and you get told off for being too sensitive, you know, by your friends, by your family, boyfriends, etc. But it's like kind of like you're hearing what they're saying, you know, like they're saying one thing, but you know they're thinking something else. So no, not easy, is it?
It's not. I find it really fascinating by how many people, and you're right, people who find their kind of spiritual selves, if you like, from a younger age, and actually how it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easier because you're having to go through adolescence with all of this heightened sensitivity, just to kind of layer on top of an already challenging time growing up and then being adolescent. So bearing in mind that your family weren't kind of spiritualists, I appreciate they probably were spiritual in their own way.
Yeah.
How did they kind of how did they cope with your kind of unfoldment, or did you pursue your own path? How did you kind of decide that this was it for you and you were going to pursue this and go into this?
I didn't really. It kind of found me. I just sort of muddled my way through life, and lots of events happened to me. Life-changing events happened to me, and I think it opened up my sensitivity even more so. And a family member asked me if I wanted to go to a circle with them. I actually had another family member who used to want to play the Ouija board when I was younger, and I'm certainly not an advocate of that, but you know, that used to scare me as well. I still don't really like it, but anyway, I was invited to a circle, and I went to this group, and I was told to meditate. As a group, meditate, and then afterwards we were to sit and get a link. And I didn't know what I was doing. And she went around the whole group saying, what did you get in the meditation? And one person was saying, oh, I saw my guide, and I saw a beautiful waterfall and lots of colors and this, that, and the other. And I was like, wow, you know. And then she got to me and she said, right, Bev, what did you see? And I said, nothing. She said, well, what do you mean nothing? You must have seen something. I said, no, I'm sorry, I didn't get anything. She said, well, let me just see. You must have got something. I said, okay, then. All right. I'm going to have to come clean. I said, as I came into your flat, there was a man sitting over there. I described what he looked like, what his personality like, what he wore, which was his like favorite like dressing gown, come smoking jackets that they used to wear in those days. Blah, 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 blah. And she like, her jaw dropped. And she said, oh my God, that's my husband, and that's his favorite chair, and this, that, and the other. And then the following week I went back, and they did what I didn't know was psychometry, and we had to choose something from the hat, and I picked up a ring. I didn't know it was her husband's ring, and I said blah 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 blah, and then she went draw down again. oh, you've just recited more or less word to word the eulogy at my husband's funeral. So I kind of like was freaking myself out a little bit as well. And it all happened too quick. And to be honest, actually, that's why I'm so passionate about the teaching side, because I don't want to happen to other people what happened to me. And it's still happening to this day. People go to circles, they're told to meditate, they don't know how to meditate, they don't understand their own energy, let alone the energy of their guides or the spirit world when they draw close. And so you're told to meditate, get a link, and get the evidence, but people don't really understand what they're doing. So my role as a spiritual teacher is very much so to nurture people from baby steps, as if they were that little girl in the bed with the old lady sitting knitting at the bottom of the bed, and take them from there and nurture their gifts, so that they understand what's going on. And lately, a lot more people are coming to me who want more spiritual counseling. In fact, they do need counseling because they don't understand what's happening to them. So, you know, I am a great advocate of and a believer in being in a circle where you can talk to your peers and you can say, oh yes, that happened to me too. Yes, I'm experiencing that. I had the same. But it's also good to speak to someone one-on-one, and you become like a spiritual counselor, and you can help that person to see you know, what their gifts are, what was happening in their lives, and what is happening in their lives. Because as you well know, and everybody here who's listening, that the more we go down this road and we open ourselves up more to the spirit world and energy, the more sensitive we become. And perhaps our relationships with the people that we love and care for, or just even our everyday, you know, friends, it can change over a period of time. So it's a spiritual journey, but for me, it's not just spiritual, Ashley. I feel it's also mental, emotional, and physical. And that is what is left out of mediumship today. I just feel really passionate about it's not just about the evidence. People have misquoted me in the past and said, oh, I don't think evidence is important. Of course it is. It's vitally important. Otherwise, how can you place who you're speaking with? But the medium needs to understand themselves too. They need to know who Bev is, who Ashley is. What am I? Who am I? How am I feeling today? Have I checked in with myself? Why am I feeling so sensitive? Why is something affecting me? So for me, it's about the whole medium. Sorry, I've gone on.
No, it's absolutely perfect. And I was going to kind of bring that up because I know from speaking to you and kind of hearing you work and talk to other people, it's going back to basics a lot of the time, isn't it? And when we say going back to basics, it's nothing to do with the message and the mediumship. It's actually going back to basics as who are you as a soul? Who are you as a soul, and kind of what is your soul purpose? What's your soul journey? How are you expressing while you're on the earth plane, and what your vibration is doing before you even think about contacting the spirit world to work with them?
They don't teach you that. And even, you know, back in the day, I don't know, back in the day, you know, when there were the fabulous pioneers of spiritualism, you know, the Gordon Higginsons and whatever, I wasn't there, unfortunately, teaching. But you know, I've studied extensively, and I've had, don't get me wrong, the most amazing mentors, but not many people are doing about the medium, the health and the well-being of the medium and the medium's mind as well. And I think it is vitally important. And so if anyone comes to me and they want to learn mediumship, I always take them on a psychic awareness course at the beginning, so that they've done 2 or 3 weeks understanding what is energy. Besides, you know, you've got the chakras and the energy centers and blah, 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 the basics. Feeling energy, feeling what's theirs and what isn't theirs. And so I'm quite strict about it. And even if I'm not running a course, I will ask them to come and see me, like, or like online. Obviously we can't see anyone at the moment, so I'm able to give them that insight before I plonk them into a circle. so that everyone is kind of, so, there's so much spiritual jargon, like discarnate, incarnate, soul's purpose, mediumistic, what's this, what's that. And we as mediums take it for granted, but the average person in the street doesn't know that jargon. It's a bit like political jargon, or, if you're a lawyer, you would understand certain expressions. So people need to understand those basics. And I just ran a course I'm now a tutor at the Fox Pioneer Centre, alongside some wonderful tutors at the Arthur Finlay College. So I feel really honoured to be working alongside them. And they are a fabulous centre. And I just run a course called You, the Evolving Soul, which actually I opened it to all levels, because there are many people that need to go back and understand what their soul's purpose is, what's going on inside them, and just understanding the basics, really. And I got really great feedback, because it was something that no one else was offering, that I know of anyway. And it's nice to do something a bit unique, but that's much needed.
Absolutely, because you know what, we're all going through a process as well, and it's very easy to be the kind of person that wants to be in service and wants to be working and giving and putting out there and being there for everybody, without actually understanding what's going on for you and how you're evolving and changing during all of this. And I'm really interested in just unpacking a little bit more, because I think it's really fascinating when you describe it. It's not just spiritual, it's also emotional and mental and physical. Some of the physical things that happen when you're a medium as well, your sensitivity, kind of you reacting to different types of jewelry and perfumes and food that you used to be able to eat, and sensitivity to caffeine and all these other things which never really get unpacked anywhere. So I'm really pleased that you're covering such a holistic way of being when you're sensitive. I love that expression, when you're a sensitive.
Yeah, because I'm not really a holistic person at all, and I wouldn't say in the past that I was a counsellor. I've always been a very, I'd like to think, a very kind and compassionate person, where people open up to me and tell me their problems. But for example, I had a lady approach me. She wanted to learn mediumship, but I could see that she wasn't in the right place to do that. She asked me if she could have a one-to-one session with me, actually book a course. And when we got into the Zoom room, I and I openly said this to her, I'm not sure why I'm here, because I think perhaps you need to speak to a proper counsellor, and we are mediums, we're not doctors, we're not counsellors. I'm really hot on the personal responsibility. But there comes to a point where I think, okay, I'm going to give this time to listen to and unravel. And it was kind of like, I get it why Spirit has sent this lady to me, because she was experienced. I had the life skills to help her, because I had gone through those sensitive moments, and I still am, because we're always in training, we're always learning, we're forever learning as spiritual beings in this body. And so I was able to help her with the life skills. And she said to me, when I go to my counsellor, they just go, really, really. Where I'm saying, this is how you could approach it or see it from this way. This is how I dealt with something like that. And she said, I just want to carry on doing it with you, because you're giving me something that even a counsellor wouldn't give them. So my role, my hat really is changing, and I'm just going with the flow, Ashley. I'm just allowing it to unfold. In fact, I was told many years ago in a spiritual assessment by someone at the Arthur Finlay College that I would go more towards spiritual counselling, and I think that it is needed by a lot, because we are so, like you say, we are so sensitive. And it's needed, isn't it? And especially now with COVID and everything else, everyone's living in a state of fear and anxiety. There's so much loneliness and mental depression, which again is being overlooked. I'm not putting down the risk of COVID. I understand how serious it is, but I'm so concerned about people's state of mind. when we had the first lockdown in March, I was more able to, I decided to go online and just offer free readings and just do something with myself. And it was amazing how many people needed that support, because we're on this continual journey, but people are just realizing that the only way out was in. And being in lockdown the last few months, they were having to go in and look at themselves. They couldn't run out or run to see people, or, you were stuck inside of yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel there is that. I'm one of these people that like to see the positive in things. So I feel like there is a positive out of all this, is that everybody should be going inside and, who am I?
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more that kind of the great turning happened, and people, all of those distractions, all of those things that you can escape into, were no longer available to us. So you're right, you had to go in. And it was really interesting. The really my non-spiritual friends, so friends that kind of have their own, they're open-hearted, beautiful people in their own right, but they would never have previously said, gosh, the bird song is so beautiful. Well, I've been really admiring the oak tree that's at the end of my road, and I've never noticed it before. Yeah. And also I've been kind of thinking, sitting quietly and kind of doing shopping for people, and all of that stuff was really great. So you're right, people are yearning for something, and I could not agree more about spiritual counselling. I could not agree more, because there is this time we're in, people are asking questions about, what is prayer? What is God? What does faith mean to me? What do I believe? What happens to us when we pass to spirit? Or they don't even use those words. What happens when we die? Why do bad things happen to good people? There's all of these questions that people have got. And it's bridging that gap, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry. And I always say to people, at the end of the day, whatever I give you is my own interpretation. I'm not a religious guru. I'm not God. I'm not in the spirit world. So not yet anyway. So all I can do is give you my own understanding, my own interpretation. And I say to people, take on board what resonates, and what doesn't, you can discard. Because what I don't like is certain tutors or gurus or whatever. Doesn't matter to me how long you've been working. At the end of the day, we don't know what knowledge someone comes to the earth plane with. But in any event, we what was I going to say? No one knows the truth. No one can say, this is what happens when you go to the spirit world, or we can only say what we believe to be the truth. Yeah. And so many people have come and said, I got wrapped because I said this, but they said it's another way. And I said, well, how do they know? It's their interpretation. And we should all be open to listen to other people's views, different religions, different cultures. And I do belong to the SNU, but I would actually like to say, and here I go, stepping out with my baby mouth, what I'd like to see, a spiritual, a Sikh with a turban or whatever, standing on the platform and being able to give a wonderful philosophy from his understanding, from his mind. It doesn't have to be just from a spiritualist. All different religions, we should be open. That's how spiritualism was meant to be originally, was to be listening to all religions. It should be all encompassing. I would love to see that.
Me too. It's coming. I feel it's coming.
So? Do you think so? Because I'm not going to say, but where I stand at the moment, no, I can't. I'm not allowed to be controversial.
Oh my goodness.
I got into trouble. You have to read the book.
Fantastic. I was just about to say, it's just you and me, Bev. Don't worry. It's just you and me. Yeah, you can tell me. No. Okay.
We'll have to read it. I got plenty of secrets, but no, I would never want to upset anyone or disrespect them. As I say, at the end of the day, it's my views. But you can't be you can't be a CSNU teacher unless you are written to say you're a spiritualist, which is quite exclusive. I'd like to see that change, but not going to happen, really, unfortunately. I'd love to see it happen. And in a world where we should be open to all religions, and we can learn a lot from each other.
Absolutely. No one, isn't that the message that comes from Spirit time and again, from so many wise souls that are coming and communicating through their mediums? Is not one person has the monopoly on the good ideas, because isn't it, you know, many paths leading to the truth, many paths leading to the one. So yeah, you're preaching to the choir here, Bev. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're all come from one source, but anyway, that's a different story, isn't it?
Super. Well, I'm really interested to hear more about your current teaching that you're doing with the Fox Pioneer Centre, which I must admit, I've seen some of the amazing courses that are on and some of the tutors that are working up there. So are you doing any courses at the moment up there? Have you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I've got a course coming up on the 2nd of December, and that's called You the Evolve, not You the Evolving Soul, sorry, I've just done that one. The Medium and the Emotion. That's another thing that I'm really passionate about, so I might get on my soapbox again. Like we were talking about, yes, the evidence is really important, but I feel that we need to go back a step and be respectful to the communicators, to these wonderful people that work the earth plane, our lovely mums, dads, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, children, all those people. What do they really want to say? What do they want to say to us? Because like I say to all my students, they have a blueprint of their voice. And if we are so busy giving the evidence and we miss the vital importance of the message, then that person's loved one may never walk into a spiritualist church again. They may never decide to go for a reading again, and that will be it. So I feel it's vitally important, and it's missed out quite a lot. And I've done quite a lot of training myself, where we're not really going into the heart center. And that's a long time ago. I got the name from someone who said they sat with Spirit, an American lady. And she gave me the name Mediumship from the Heart. And I didn't realize until much later on, because when I used to be teaching, I used to say, no, don't worry about the message. Let's just get to the evidence, because that's what I was being taught or had been taught. Now it's and never mind and tie it all up. I mean, how many times have you heard that? The beginning, the middle, the end, and tie it all up. No, we want to know, what does that dad want to say to his daughter? He might have this one-off opportunity to say it. So what I want people to do is to go deeper into the blending, deeper into the I am and what they really truly want to say. It's about getting the medium's ego mind out the way. And when I say ego, I don't mean it in a bad way, because, as you know, there's good and bad ego, but it's about taking that aside and just working purely in that almost like trance-like state, where you're in a deeper state of awareness of that person, bringing them so close. So this workshop is called The Medium and the Emotion. And when I teach, I try and teach it inspirationally. I'll always have a timetable that I'm working to, but I'm tuning in with the students that are coming in. All the courses at the Fox Pioneer Centre are £45, and that's a 5-hour workshop. And this particular one is 5 till 10. We usually offer 2 times, which is 9 till 2 UK times, or 5 till 10. This one I'm just doing 5 till 10, which allows a lot of the American students to come in, because it'll be 12 to 5 for them. And then I'm doing another workshop. I'll be doing more with the Fox Pioneer. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and work out what I'm going to do. They've asked me for my list for 2021. I need to do that. Sorry, Nicola. And also I'm doing one with an American medium friend of mine, Claire Stopler. I'm going to be doing a 2-day workshop called Progressing Your Mediumship. We did exploring your mediumship, and that was wonderful. Zoom is fantastic. You can open up to everybody. So and that will be a mixture of everything, really. Again, tailor-made to the group outline, but tuning in with what the mediums who are there. It's for those who are already, all those courses I mentioned are for those who are already linking in with the spirit world.
Perfect.
But I also do the one-to-one mentoring as well, or small group mentoring, so people can catch up and go into other groups.
You are so busy with so many amazing sounding courses, and I love what you said about the emotion behind it. Do you get emotional when you give messages? Do you? What's your kind of feeling?
Yeah, I do.
Really
I liked committing the cardinal sin, Ashley. Yeah, I know. I sound a real rebel with my wings. I went to, and I had a Facebook discussion about it, actually, because I feel it's important to talk about it. It was a few years ago. I was at a spiritualist centre, and right at the end, I heard this mum say to me, "Could you go and cuddle my daughter?" who was sitting at the back of the congregation. And I said, "We can't do that," to myself in my head. And she said, "Please, can you do that?" And I looked at the daughter and I thought, you know what? I'm stepping outside of my box and I'm going to do it. And I did openly discuss it on a Facebook post in an open forum. So in answer to your question, yeah, I do work with the emotion. They always say, "Oh no, you don't want people sniveling, you don't want people crying in a reading." But for me, how do you know you've touched someone's soul? It's through the communicator's soul touching my soul that I'm able to touch my client's soul. So if I don't see their emotion, how do I know that my job is done? Because it's not, again, just about the evidence. I remember doing readings and giving this amazing evidence, and I remember one reading and I got 5 communicators come through, and I thought it was the best one I'd done. And then she said to me, "What does my mum want to say to me?" Or other things I get is what they're doing in the spirit world. What do they wear in the spirit world? Who have they met with in the spirit world? So there's a lot more than the evidence.
Yeah.
A lot more. And we've got to get out the box. Mediumship is changing. And if you don't think that, people, then you need to think again.
Yeah. Lovely. I was going to ask you that, Bev, because you're one of the mediums that kind of has been working online, really used to this technology, really used to kind of asking a lot of questions. And
laughing, I'm a technophobe.
Well, you wouldn't think so, because you are literally front and center and kind of out there pushing the envelope. How do you think that mediumship is changing? Have you kind of noticed anything within your own mediumship? And have you noticed anything with all of the people that have kind of come through workshops and teaching with you? What's your kind of take on the future of mediumship?
Well, if we look at the past, it's always been age, height, what they look like, and how they passed. One of the things I always struggled with, and sorry, Spirit World, don't listen to this, but I never used to get the passing, or very rarely. Very rarely. It was my weak point. And I think that was because I used to say to him, "Don't tell me anything bad." So here I'm saying, "Don't tell me anything bad." And then and then I'm asking how they passed. So I realized actually only recently that I'm not actually teaching them. And I was doing that with my circle, because I run a couple of online circles, beginners and more advanced. And I realized that there are things that I also need to sharpen up on, and I need to be teaching them things that maybe I'm not good at. But maybe if they're like a medical person, if you're a medical person, then you're going to get things like that. If you're a hairdresser, you're going to pick up a lot of people who work as a hairdresser or beauty therapist. They're usually quite compassionate people because they're listening to people's problems all day. So, I'm trying to get people to work in the capacity of how they work in their everyday lives. So I'm working on that. But now it doesn't matter how you start a message. It's about surrendering and allowing them to come forward. If they want to give you a scene rather than a person, I never get height. You know, I'm 5'1". Everyone's tall in my book. You know, so I don't feel it's particularly, you know, that important, or what they're wearing is that important.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's that old saying, it's not what you do, it's not what you say, it's how you make someone feel.
Yeah.
And it must be the same in the spirit world. You have got to be able to make your client feel that person. So yeah, get the evidence, but don't just leave the message to 5 minutes at the end, or they love you very much. It's not good enough. It's slap wrists for me with people. It's like, put your hand on your heart, breathe it, feel it, and don't be scared to, because in the olden days, how it used to be is we were told, don't hug, don't get emotional, don't do this, don't do that. And that's fine. I'm not saying my way is the right way, but I'm a sensitive person. I'm a very compassionate person. I'm the hugest hugger. Anyone who knows me, I'm missing my hugs, and I do sneak in a few. Sorry, Mr. Government, but I do sneak in a few little hugs along the way, or virtual hugs, and that's me, and that's the way my mediumship's going to be. I can't change the way I am. Equally, I don't want to change someone else, you know, who's used to working in a bog standard way. But we can always learn different dimensions, can't we? We can always learn different tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things that you can do, and you don't have to be taught it by another tutor. You can, like I say, you can look at your own profession. Like I said to this girl last night who's a hairdresser, well, what would you say to them if they were sitting in your chair? So I just think how it's changing is you've got to get out the box and just work however they want to give it to you, whatever they want to say to you. Obviously, we've got to have that personal responsibility and a filter. But just be you. Old saying, everyone else is taken, but it's so true. And I remember Glyn Edwards, one course that I did at the Arthur Findlay College. I was so blessed to meet him and work with him. And one day, I was feeling a little bit down by some things that had been said, or interpreting had been said, as we are sensitives. And after lunch break, he came back and he said, I've got a gift for you. And it was all wrapped up in a paper towel. I thought, oh, what's he bought me? Something nice. And I opened it up and it was a leaf. And I thought, and I said to him, I'm looking at it, I've got a painting of him actually in front of me here. And I thought, what's it? And he said, this is from Gordon's tree, favourite tree. And he said, don't ever change your mediumship for anything, Bev. He said, because the day you change your mediumship is the day to give up. And I will never forget his words to me. He taught me one thing, and that's to be unique. You know, not everyone's going to like you. And especially in the spiritual world, as you know, it's not always love and light out there. You've got to stand in your own power and say something that I won't say here.
I love it. I love how, yeah, that's a good word. Standing in your power, you are. Yeah,
you've got to believe in you, and I would never belittle. You know, I've been belittled before. I was told once I was boring to watch on the platform. I'd only just started out, and for that I didn't go on the platform for years. I would run out the Arthur Findlay College whenever they said it was platform work. Affected me badly. But what I've done actually is I've taken all those experiences to help other people and help them conquer their fears and not listen to anything. Stand in your own beliefs. You know you can do it.
Amazing. What keeps you strong, and what keeps you motivated to keep on and keep going?
Oh my God, I have my weak moments. I have my tearful moments. You know, I live on my own. I lost my dad many, many years ago, which was, I feel, pivotal in my life. And I lost my mom a year and a half ago. And even as a medium, you know, everyone thinks because you're a medium, you can talk to the spirit world, and it's different. It's not. I still feel the grief. I miss the physical presence of my mom. I find it very difficult, especially during COVID, you know, the anti-hugging, the way everyone is kind of infighting, you know, backbiting over what they believe and what you believe and what's right and what's wrong. It gets to me, but I always say I'm not a cup half full or half empty. I like to say a cup full, because you have to keep positive. And there are times when I too feel a bit negative, but I notice when I'm doing it and I try and turn it around on its head, because we're all human. And anyone who says that they don't ever get, you know, those down times, they're lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
We all get those down moments, but it's about trying to how to get yourself out of it. And a lot of the time I practice gratitude for the things that I do have, however small they are, because my dad always used to say, if you went into a room and put all your problems in the middle of the room, you would walk out with the same problems, and there's always someone a lot worse off than you. And I'm really grateful for whatever I've had, what I have now, and please God, what I have to come in the future. And what keeps me going is being able to motivate and help other people, and watching them get their wow moments, watching them get their mediumship when someone else might have said, you're never going to make a medium, and actually seeing them and encouraging them. I come off Zoom and I skip into my kitchen, and I'm like after I've taught in circle on a Monday or a Thursday night, I'm like on a high. And you know, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you might feel a bit low, but I remember what I can bring to people, and that keeps me going.
Lovely. That's amazing. Yeah, gratitude, big piece of the puzzle. Big piece of the puzzle that's so simple, but actually it's so fundamental. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. What you just said really resonated with so many people. Lovely Pamela. Hello, Pamela, and thanks for joining.
I don't see any comments. Oh
yeah, she really resonated with what you said. And lovely Phil.
Sorry to interrupt. I've just seen all the comments, because I had it on private chats. I didn't see it.
Oh,
sorry,
no.
guys. Yeah, sorry, Ashley.
Well, don't worry. Everyone's really appreciating your honesty, Bev, and just kind of saying it as it is, and being very practical and very, 21st century about the whole thing, because people are changing, society's needs are changing, and the kind of people that are being drawn to come in for a reading, they're all asking for different things now than maybe they were 20 or 30 years ago. And so some of the things that you're teaching are kind of needed here and now.
Well, I was thinking, if Gordon was here, and I said this to actually a well-known medium, which I got told off about because he took me the wrong way. But I said, with respect, with the words, with respect, if Gordon Higginson was here, he would, he would be rolling, because he would want to see progression of mediumship. As far as I understand about him, sadly I was never fortunate enough to meet him, that he was very much a progressive man. He actually did take the tarot cards, I believe, into a church. I'm not saying I believe in doing that, but all this rubbish that animals don't have souls and things like that, I don't agree with them. I know, fortunately, things are changing and their opinions are changing, and that's only because they've had to change. But I do feel that if those pioneers were here now, that they would want to change things. And I'm not a pioneer of spiritualism, because I can't be, because I'm okay, I'll say it, because I was born Jewish. So that means I can't progress under SNU. So guys, if you want me for SNU, you're gonna have to change things. But it's a shame. There may be some amazing Buddhists and Sikhs and Catholics, and why are you all denouncing your religion so you can get on in the SNU? I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, so you might have to cut that. But it's too late, we're live. But
yeah, sorry.
I put my head on a block many times. I don't say it to shock, but I live in my truth, Ashley. I stand in my truth. And if the community, spiritual community, want to cut me off of that, then I'm going to say it's their loss, because I'm a cup full girl. Yeah. And I'm not going to, the old Bev would have said, oh my God, I've been vilified. I'm never going to be able to put my head up again. I hold my head up high, and I believe in what I believe in. And I feel there are plenty of religions, plenty of people from all backgrounds that can give so much to spiritualism and put it back where it should be. Fix the pieces. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Totally, Bev. Your passion shines through. It does shine through, and it's not about us, and it's not about anything other than the work.
It's about the work. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. As one of the tutors at the college, he used to make me laugh. He used to say, it doesn't matter how far the monkey climbs up the tree. And it's so true. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into the rest of the saying, but it doesn't matter how high the monkey climbs up the tree. At the end of the day, it's about what you can bring to somebody else, either in your teachings or in your readings. And so for me, if somebody walks away, all mediumship should be healing. So if somebody walks away from a reading feeling better than when they came in, then my job is done. If somebody has an aha moment in a teaching session with me, or in a counselling session, and I won't say counselling because I'm not a counsellor, as I say, or I've helped them in some respect, and they've had that aha moment, then my job is done. And I don't need titles. I don't need medals. I know who I am, and all I want to do is help people. Yeah. And that's what I try and do, and even during like in the lockdown, we did a lot of I did a lot of charity work as well.
Are we allowed to talk about your trust? Can we mention the work you did for the trust? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know how we were doing for time, but I did a spiritualist service on Zoom, and right at the end I had this little girl who came through, and lovely evidence. But during that evening, I found that my mediumship was really different. I was given the evidence, but I was really feeling this deep blending that was going on. So by the time I got to this little girl, there was a lot of evidence and information that was coming out. And in fact, one of my students at the time took it because she actually lost her own daughter, sadly, to cancer. And she recognized the information as this little girl called Indy Rose, because she had been a benefactor of, or whatever you call it, of the charity. So she took the message back to the mum who'd lost Indy. And what happened was, right at the end of the reading, I said something. Oh, she told me to mention toast, and I thought that's a weird thing. And I thought, no, I can't say it. And the little girl saying, say it. Anyway, what happened was that my brain goes like blah, blah, blah. My mouth can't keep up with that. What happened was the little girl, that my friend had gone back, told the mother, and apparently they'd just gone out and bought a toasty machine, and they'd had toasted sandwiches for dinner that night, which was wonderful evidence that, that something I could have easily discarded proved that the little girl was still around them. And the mum came back and said she was jumping for joy in the garden because she was told by a medium that her daughter would never come through to her because she'd gone back to her real mum and dad, another mum and dad, and that's why she's never had a message from her. And that made me really furious. Again, I'm on my soapbox about it. And then also what happened was that somebody I know who was watching me that evening said that they made a catty snide remark about my mediumship that night, which was really, really uncalled for. Because actually, and I would never say that, but I actually felt that I really worked in a completely different way that night. So it showed me two sides to unspiritual behavior. And I laid in bed that night, Ashley, and I thought, what can I do for this to work? You know, how can I do it? How can I help? And I shut my eyes for about a few minutes, and the idea came to do a charity event. So I did a workshop called Conversation with Spirit. And the reason I did that, I charged people all for the charity. And the reasons why I did it was to educate mediums about personal responsibility and what we give. And then during that, the lovely Bill Hughes, fellow medium, he said to me when I was talking about it, doing all these lives, saying, I'm doing this event, come support me, buy your tickets. He said he'll do a demonstration of mediumship with me. So we put on a demonstration of mediumship with some other mediums. And over a few months, I've raised over £2,000. And what the charity does is every single penny, because it's fantastic to give to, cancer research, but this charity is particularly for the children, and every single penny goes towards the toys. And the toys are bought, they're taken out their box, they're washed, and they put batteries in. And some of the boxes are £500-600 or £1,000. If they're teenagers, they might want an iPad or something, or a phone. And these children are very, very sick. And some of them have never seen the sea. So they've also got like a house in Kent, which is by the sea. And Indy Rose's mum set up the trust called the Indy Rose Trust. And so I've raised over £2,000 on my own. And a Spiritual Psychics TV, they put on lovely Richard James. He put on Celebrity Squares, and he raised another £1,000 there. So we're over £3,000 for the Indy Rose Trust, which probably is only about 6 or 7 boxes for 6 or 7 children. But to see their faces when they open up, and the Indy Rose Trust is the legacy that was created for Indy. And I feel that she goads me on. And so actually, if I can mention that I'm running up to Christmas, I'm doing gift vouchers and things, but every reading that I do, I'm donating £5 to the Indy Rose Trust, so that it's it's money in the for toys for the children.
Wonderful.
Because they have it's brain and spinal cancer, and sadly most of them won't make it. So it's very, very sad. And it's sad for the parents as well, because some of them have to give up their day jobs to care for their kids. So money is tight.
Bev, it really is from the heart. I think that message you were given from your friend in America who gave you the name of your page is absolutely right. You speak from the heart. You're a really big-hearted, open-hearted person, and that is, lovely Indy Rose is a big spurs you on. You can hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about it. It really matters.
Every time I do a function, I think, right, that's my last one for the Indy Rose, because it's so hard, especially now, to get money out of people. And I get it. We're all uncertain of the future. We don't know where we're going, financially. But, I say to people, even if you give £1, it's a pound towards a gift. So I'm still kind of, especially with the run up to Christmas, I'd like to put some more smiles on faces if I can. So, yeah.
Super. Bev, do you know what? It's been so lovely to talk to you and to get to know you a little bit better, and to get to know more about you as a person, aside from your teaching, and what it is that's kind of in the heart of you. And it's been such a joy this evening to talk to you. It really has. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like, especially over the last, since COVID, I know that I just want to say to people that I know everybody is desolate, everybody's sad, everybody's scared, everybody's anxious. But we need to look at, I know from myself what it's brought to me. It's brought me back to my core center. It's brought me back to what you, everyone watching here, what you can do to help and inspire other people, even just a kind word. Because just remember, guys, there's a lot of people like myself living on their own. You might be the only person they see in that day. You know, you might be moaning because you're stuck at home with your family. There are people that are on their own, or they're high risk, they can't go out. So it's about giving back, really, isn't it?
Super.
And be grateful.
You're so right. You're so right. Thank you so much, Bev, for a really, really amazing hour. That hour went so fast. And sorry we couldn't get to all of your questions and comments. There were loads of people who joined us.
See all these until just now. I'm going to have to go through them.
Yeah, we always go back afterwards. So if there's anything really burning, then we will go back and kind of have a look at some of your comments. And thank you so much if you're watching. If it's your first time here, hello and welcome. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you want to leave a comment, then please do. Thank you for everyone who likes and shares this as well. We really appreciate that. It really does mean a lot. So thank you so much. There's some links for Bev's website and Facebook page further up in the chat. So please go back and have a look at that if you want to get in touch with Bev directly. And if you've just pitched up and you're worried that you've missed the entire thing, don't worry. All of it, you can go back and watch it on a replay. All of these programs for Friday nights and Sunday services are all recorded, and they're there for you to go back and watch whenever you fancy.
Yeah, I can say as well that through my website, they can also contact me. There is a contact page, which is bevmann.co.uk. There is a link there, and they can put an inquiry about workshops or regions. And you can also see my testimonials and all the stuff that I have done, the workshops I've done in the past. I kind of leave them up there as a library so people get an idea what I've done.
Thank you so much, Bev. Thank you so much. And we're going to say, you're so welcome. We are going to say good night to you all. God bless. And we'll see you next Friday for another amazing, spiritually minded, open-hearted person coming to share their particular thoughts, their particular things they want to talk about, and their own specialism, and sharing their wisdom and knowledge with you. So we will see you next Friday. See you later, everybody. Cheerio, Bev.
Thank you. Bye. See you Sunday.
Yeah, see you Sunday. Yes.